Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. So we're going to be doing a really glowing, flawless, like perfected skin foundation tutorial today. I did upload a video, I think it was a couple of days ago now, my best like top 5 tips for really smooth foundation and for, keeping your foundation looking really smooth all day. And there were loads and loads of comments on that video asking for like a step-by-step tutorial. I'm showing exactly how I get the smoothest base possible. If you are new here to my channel, I do have oily skin, I do have enlarged pores, and I do have texture on my face. So basically the whole idea of this routine is to eliminate as much of that as possible and have my skin looking absolutely perfect all day, and also keeping it like looking as flawless as it looks when you first apply it. So if you are interested in that, please stick around, and obviously if you are new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you do not miss up on any of my new uploads. And let's jump straight into the video. Okay, so starting out with any foundation routine, prep is honestly one of the most absolute important things. You've got to make sure you are doing your skincare. You've got to make sure you are looking after your skin, drinking lots of water, all that kind of stuff. And in today's video, to exfoliate and like smooth the surface of my skin and hydrate my skin and get it nice and plump and glowy looking for my foundation, I'm going to be using the brand new product from Dermalogica. I'm so excited to be finally able to use this on camera because guys, I am the first of the campaign here in Australia and it's so just like, major pinch me moment. I did actually get to fly over to LA back in March, go to Dermalogica HQ, learn about all the science behind this product and do this really cool shoot. Guys, the images, I'm just so proud. I just feel like so profesh. But no, I am really excited that this product is finally available for sale. It is such a cool product. It's a 5-minute mask and it's a 2-in-1 exfoliating and hydrating mask. Now, normally that's a 2-step routine, but this product does everything all in one and it does it really quickly and effectively. And what else makes it really cool is it's actually sort of customizable. So if you've got areas of dryness where you are wanting more exfoliation than other areas, you can actually like move the exfoliation there in like these little spheres. And I'm going to show you so that you can see it's honestly so cool. But you can move them around to different areas of your face depending on, what you need where. It's so cool. So basically you take the product and you apply it. You want cleansed skin first, but you apply it all over your face. Now you'll be able to see as I'm applying this, see these like little balls here? These are the spheres, and these spheres are full of bamboo, and it's that bamboo that does the exfoliating. But if you've got patches on your face where you've got dry skin or really flaky skin, or you're just wanting extra exfoliation, you can move them around, and what you do is you actually pop those and it releases the bamboo and you can feel it exfoliating. I don't find it to be like too particularly over the top or like harsh on the skin at all, but you can definitely feel it exfoliating. So basically that bamboo exfoliates and it preps the skin for the hydration, and all of the hydration is in the base of this mask. It's actually got snow mushroom in it to hydrate, and snow mushroom holds 450 times its own weight in water, which is crazy. But basically you spread it out first, and then what you do is you actually burst those spheres and it releases that bamboo like I said, and then you exfoliate, and then you want to let this sit for 5 minutes, and then you basically just rinse it off. Like, that's how quick and easy it is. The whole process is just so satisfying too, like moving things around and popping them. I don't know about you, but I enjoy that. So this is obviously a really good way to exfoliate your skin, hydrate the skin, plump the skin before going with foundation. I'm going to go rinse this off quickly and then I'll be back to start prepping my skin even more. All right, all rinsed, and honestly, if you could like reach through the camera and feel my skin right now, it's so smooth and soft. Like I said in that previous video, it is really important to still hydrate the skin before going on with your foundation. Obviously, if you don't hydrate your skin, dry skin's obviously just going to be dry and parched, and oily skin, if you don't put any moisture back in after you've cleansed, it's going to overproduce oil to try and compensate. So we're going to be popping on a moisturizer, and like I said in that video, a water-based or a gel formulated moisturizer is your absolute best bet for the smoothest, like longest lasting, flawless foundation. I'm going to be using the Dermalogica Calm Water Gel. I did talk about this product in that video too. It's just my favorite. It's a really lightweight moisturizer. Completely absorbs into the skin. It doesn't leave any residue or any texture. So just spreading that out over the skin, and then I'm going to be pressing it in. We don't want to rub the skin. We don't want to cause any micro exfoliation. We don't want to cause any product pilling. So just press it into the skin. And ideally, when you are applying your skincare before your foundation, give it, if you can, like 10 to 15 minutes. Let it really absorb. If you sort of go straight in with foundation straight away, sometimes it can affect how long your foundation lasts. Obviously, because we are in YouTube tutorial wonderland. I'm just going to be moving straight ahead, but it is a really, really good idea to actually wait and give it time to really absorb. All right, for primer, I'm going to be using this new one by Too Faced. I actually think this has been reformulated. It's not necessarily 100% new. The Primed and Poreless primer from Too Faced. This is a really, really unique formula. I really enjoy this. It gives the skin that really smooth sort of blown out effect, but it's not like super high in silicone texture, so it doesn't affect like how long my foundation lasts all day, and it helps the foundation grip, and I feel like it helps like minimize texture even further. It's really, really nice primer, this one. So I'm just applying this one. Again, pressing, being sure not to cause too much sort of friction or rubbing on the skin. And then once your primer is on, I want you to powder your primer. I know that sounds bizarre, but trust me, it makes a huge difference to how smooth your foundation looks and also how smooth it stays during the day. Also helps with other things like longevity. It can help stop caking. It can stop oil production and shine. It can stop transfer. It is like the golden... Oh, it just works so good. So obviously for this, I'm going to be using Nikkia Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder, as if you would ever see me using any other at this point. This is a really finely milled translucent powder. It is loaded with skincare ingredients as well, so it's cosmeceutical, like it's got cosmeceutical benefits, and it controls shine like an absolute boss. It's better off to do this with a powder brush because it'll give you the lightest layer possible, and we're just applying a really smooth, like light layer, and basically we're just, yeah, applying a tiny amount, kind of setting that primer. Just gently, just don't use too much. That's the biggest thing. You only need a tiny amount. We're going to go in with foundation now. I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. Now this is another really good trick that I did mention in that video as well. With your foundation, if it's a formula that you find isn't that flexible on the skin, so if it's thicker, if it's a full coverage, if it's more of like a matte finish foundation, what you can do is actually add a tiny little bit of oil to the foundation formula, or you can use a moisturizer, whatever suits you, whatever you've got. And what it does is it actually makes that formula more flexible on the face and on the skin. So as you're moving and talking all day, it's not going to cause caking, creasing, cracking. It's going to stay sort of like flexible on the skin, and it'll keep it looking really flawless and perfect and smooth for even longer. So what I do is I just put the foundation on the back of my hand, and then I add a little oil. The same way that I did in that other video, I'm going to be using the Dermalogica Phyto Replenish oil. This is a really good oil. Loaded with antioxidants and vitamins and things, and I just add 1 drop. Like, you don't want to use heaps of oil, only a tiny, like literally 1 drop, and then you just mix that oil in with the foundation on the back of your hand, and then what we'll do is we'll start applying this. Like I said, this makes it a lot more flexible, and it'll keep it looking really, really smooth and perfect. It's also totally fine for oily skin, guys, so don't freak. If you're oily like I am, if you're only using 1 drop of, if it's a serum or if it's a moisturizer or if it's an oil like I've used, 1 drop is not going to affect like the longevity of your foundation. It's not going to make you oily during the day. And even if it was to add like a little bit more oiliness to the skin during the day, we've already powdered our primer. So we have that extra barrier, like that extra layer of protection to keep our skin looking really smooth and shine-free and oil-free all day. So I'm using one of our Nikkia Cosmetics Pro Perfecting Sponges to apply this. Obviously, this isn't necessary. I mean, it's necessary for me, but these sponges do have really, really, really tiny little pores in them. And that means that when they are used to apply your foundation, it's going to look a lot more smooth than a lot of other sponges, and also a lot more smooth than using a foundation brush. The smaller pores also help to stop the sponge absorbing, all of the products that you put on top. So you're going to get less foundation wastage as well. But I'm just applying this basically all over my skin. Now, less is more when it comes to foundation. I don't want you to try and build up too much coverage with like your foundation. So if you've got areas of redness, breakouts, acne, whatever it is, like capillaries, dark under eyes, I don't want you to try and cover all of that up with the foundation. A very, very light, thin layer of foundation is all you're wanting to go in with. I'm lucky because this foundation is really, really full coverage as well. So, that obviously helps. But you want to actually build up the coverage with a concealer as opposed to building it up with the foundation. Building up layer upon layer of foundation causes cakiness, and the texture of your skin will not be as smooth. So yeah, less is best. Only use a very small amount. Only use as much as you need, kind of a thing. Adding that oil and that little bit of extra hydration to the formula also makes it a lot easier to blend out. So again, that's just going to help it look a lot smoother as well. So that is pretty much blended out. Now this is the point where I would normally do my eyes and my brows. So I'm going to quickly jump off camera and quickly do those. And then we're going to come back and continue working on our smooth, flawless foundation. All right, brows and eyes are done. So moving back onto the skin. Now what we want to do, and like I said, you know, when I was talking about the foundation, don't build up coverage with foundation. You want to spot conceal. Now I'm pretty lucky. Like I said, that foundation was pretty full coverage, so I don't actually have too much redness peeking through, but I still want to apply concealer underneath my eyes. And there are a couple of spots. So you want to take a really nice full coverage concealer, and you're not going to want to use a lot of it. So obviously it's a little bit different under the eyes. Like when you apply concealer under your eyes, you know, don't worry too much about that. Obviously still less is always more. Don't layer on enough concealer to cover 5 faces. I'm just going to apply my concealer normally underneath my eyes. I'm using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer under here to help brighten. And I'm also going to pop a little bit of this just right on my nose there. But for the rest of the face, you want to choose a concealer. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about covering up redness, blemishes, acne. Any extra coverage that you need, you want to take a concealer that's a very similar shade to your foundation. So I've got the Too Faced Born This Way Super Coverage. This is a really nice full coverage, really creamy concealer. And you want it in a shade that's very, very close to your normal foundation shade, like I said, because obviously if you are highlighting blemishes, if you're highlighting acne spots, for example, normally they are raised. Adding a light concealer to that is going to highlight it. It's going to draw more attention. It's going to make the skin look more textured. So using a fluffy blending brush, just pick up a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of that concealer and then very gently spot conceal in the areas that you need it. Again, less is always more. Don't apply too much product. And you can see as I'm applying it, because it's a very similar color to my foundation, you can hardly sort of see it. Just a very small amount, only in the areas that you need it, rather than sort of going in with the doe foot applicator and I'm just like basically going crazy and adding heaps and heaps of concealer to those areas. That will basically just result in more texture, more layers, and a less smooth surface. So once you've applied all that, go back in with the sponge that you applied the foundation with and just gently tap the areas where you applied that concealer. Basically just to ensure that it's smoothed down, and this will blend it in with the surface, smooth it down, but without adding any extra, you know, like layers of foundation. So that's what you want to do. And I'm just going to blend out the concealer on my nose and under my eyes how I normally would. And then once that is all blended in, we're going to go ahead and set it so that it lasts all day. It stays looking really flawless all day. In terms of setting your foundation, you guys know I always recommend a translucent powder. I never recommend a tinted powder or a pressed tinted powder or a powder foundation, because it just does not look as smooth and as flawless and as perfect on the skin. Translucent powders will, they'll lock everything down and hopefully without adding any texture, depending on what powder you use, obviously. So I'm going to go back in with my Gerard Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder again. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the same sponge and I'm going to use this to press the powder into the skin. This is honestly the biggest thing that you can do. It'll really lock everything down and it'll really smooth out the surface. Now this powder is awesome. The tiny little, I guess, pigment particles, I guess you could say, they've got a spherical shape, and what that means is they reflect light evenly, so it helps to really blur the skin. That's why we did call it the Velvet Finishing Powder. And obviously, like I said, it's triple milled, it's not cakey, it's completely translucent. It's going to lock your foundation in, make it last all day, but also keep your skin looking absolutely as smooth as possible. Now, before going in and applying a setting spray, and I do always recommend to use a setting spray, it just makes everything last that whole lot longer. And it also helps, like if you do have any areas of dryness or anything, it just sort of helps smooth them over and make everything even more flawless. But before doing that, you want to go in and apply your bronzer, your blush, your highlighter, all the things that you want to apply. If you are wanting to keep your base looking as 100% smooth as possible, go with matte products, so a matte bronzer and a matte blush, and then only use a highlighting product, whether that be a cream or a powder, on the specific areas where you want glow. If you use a bronzer that's got shimmer in it, if you use a blush that's got shimmer in it, normally what will happen is that will actually help to emphasize any texture that you may have that we've just covered up. So enlarged pores, like textured skin, pimples, acne, all that kind of stuff. Using shimmery products on large areas of the face will highlight texture, and that is what we are not wanting to do, so just use matte products, so matte bronzers, matte blushes. I can link a couple of favorites down below if you like. This is the NARS Matte Laguna bronzer. This is a really, really good one. That doesn't emphasize texture, and I feel like it also helps to like sort of really blur the skin out as well. And MAC matte blushes and also NARS matte blushes, really, really good for not emphasizing texture on the skin. So I'm going to quickly do this and then I will be back. All right, so I've got my bronzer done, my blush done. I've used a matte blush, and then I've just added a tiny little bit of sparkle right at the top of my cheekbones. Skin is looking really, really flawless, poreless, no texture emphasized. And if you follow all of the tips that I've shown you in this video, including exfoliating your skin really, really well before actually going in and applying your products, you will notice that your makeup will last so much longer and it will look so much smoother than ever before. Like I said, finish up with a setting spray. I have already applied mine. You guys know I love the Gerard Cosmetics Slay All Day setting spray. You might want to try, if you're more of a dry skin type, you might want to try like a really light sort of essence kind of spray, like an antioxidant spritz or just like a hydrating spritz or something. But yeah, you will notice a huge difference in the way that your skin looks. So I hope that today's video helped you guys. If you've got any more questions about how to make your foundation smoother, how to make it more flawless, how to make it last longer, please pop your questions in the comment section down below. I will be sure to answer them and help you in absolutely every way that I possibly can. And yeah, I hope that the video was helpful. So have a great day, guys. Give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I will talk to you all in my next one.